The US just hit 1 million infections from the virus that's going on right now, and we're right about at 55,000 deaths from the infection here in America. Now, this comes at a time where we don't really know the scope of how much of this virus has gone around because there still isn't enough testing for everyone to know exactly if they have it or not. Some people think that the disease went back through last year. Some say no, it happened in January or February, but it's hard to tell at this point because there hasn't been enough time to research it properly to see exactly how it started and to get confirmation on all that. So at this time, I think it's important, since we just did hit 1 million, to look at kind of where the government has gone with all of this aid and to look at what can happen in the future. So I'm going to keep this video brief, but stay until the end because it is a shorter video and I think it will be important. I'm going to talk about what's going on next in stimulus, the possibility of a future payment, and seeing what the chances are of that. So the first group of people that I want to look at are the unemployed and what the government has done to help them. One of the major things that they passed was the extra unemployment insurance, which pays $600 a week to the unemployed. This has helped a lot of people. I know a lot of people that were in lower paying jobs, they're now getting paid more than they did before. So that's definitely helping out. That ends up being over $30,000 a year extra in unemployment insurance, which definitely helps people put food on the table. The other thing is this unemployment insurance is open to gig workers and self-employed. So that's the first time that that's ever happened. So that's helping another group of people get by paying for their food and their rent and stuff like that. So that's definitely helping out. The next group of people that I want to look at are the business owners. So the CARES Act helped by making PPP loans and EIDL. Those are the two most well-known things that came out of that in terms of business loans. The PPP loans are really good for a little bit larger businesses that have payroll. If you spend a certain amount on payroll, then you don't have to pay that back. And the amount that you don't spend on that and the other eligible expenses is a very low interest rate. The EIDL grants are also something that came out of that, and those are grants for $1,000 per employee up to 10 employees. So that's helping a lot more of the small businesses get small amounts of grants and helping other just side gig workers or side business workers get a little extra grant money. Those have come with some issues though, with people trying to apply and the supply not necessarily being there, but they just passed the Interim Bill, which is phase 3.5, which will hopefully fund those different loans a lot more than they were before and get a lot more relief to a lot more people. So the other major thing, which is what everyone has talked about and what everyone was really excited about, is stimulus payments for individuals. They were $1,200 and they didn't cover everyone. If you were a dependent or if you were from out of the country and you don't have a social security number, those people didn't get payments along with a couple other groups, but the vast majority of people did get those stimulus checks. Now, a lot of those people haven't gotten the payments yet because either they didn't have their information to the IRS, so they're getting a paper check in the mail, and they've already sent out the first wave of paper checks, but a lot of people had their information into the IRS, and about 80 million people got paid a couple weeks ago, and more people are getting paid this week by direct deposit. So that's helping out a lot of people. And unless you're in one of those big cities like New York or LA or one of the high cost of living areas, that $1,200 tends to go a far way. The major question though is what's coming next, with the last interim bill being passed and almost only including businesses and then also hospitals and testing. That didn't provide a lot of relief to a lot of individuals that were unemployed or can't make bills. So a lot of people are asking what's coming next. There have been a lot of proposals and I've covered a lot of the proposals, but I don't want to go through any specific proposals right now. I want to talk about just the likelihood of us getting stimulus payments in general. Now, all of these proposals are coming from the Democratic side, and at first the Republicans were saying, let's wait, let's see how this last interim bill went, just because we just passed all this money to small businesses, let's let it trickle down a little bit first and see where it goes. But now they're saying that they are in support of more stimulus, but they want restrictions on it. So you might hear, oh, restrictions, that's not great. But that's a good step forward because now they're inviting the idea of more stimulus coming forward, so they're not fully against more stimulus. Now, if I had to guess whether there's more stimulus coming for individuals, I would say yes. There are a couple of reasons for that. One is that really helps out the general economy with more people having small amounts of money, more people feel secure, and that is good for the general economy with people buying things. That's number one. Number two is interest rates are really low right now. It's really easy to borrow money for the government, so I think that they're more likely to do that going forward. Number three is those payments were actually very cheap for the $1,200 per person. They cost the government a small amount compared to the other CARES Acts that were passed. We're talking about the CARES Act costing about $2.2 trillion, and those stimulus payments only costing about $400 billion. So I don't imagine that they'll pass $10,000 or $12,000, but I could imagine a world where they pass $1,000 or $2,000 month by month and see how it goes along the way, because that is very cheap for the government. We're talking again about $300 or $400 billion into the pockets of those who need it the most, which is the general population. I also think that that looks really good for the governors and the members of Congress that pass that along, because people want to vote for them after they pass that. So I think most people won't take a hard stance against it just because it will help out a lot of people. So those are the main reasons that I think the next stimulus payments will go through. The House and Senate are opening back up in about a week on May 4, so we'll know more at that point and going forward what everyone's thinking and their arguments for or against different bills, and that will be a time where we'll get a lot of news compared to right now. This is kind of the calm before the storm and the calm after the last storm, so this is kind of a breather going forward. So relax, enjoy it, because we'll have a lot more news coming out in the coming weeks, and hopefully there's more money coming to you, but we will see soon. If you like this stuff, please subscribe, because I'm gonna keep updating videos, and please leave a like. That really helps out the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.